And joining me tonight by way of Kuwait through Bangkok, stop at Hawaii, little pit stop in Scottsdale, and right into your heart here at Pauley, Larry Farmer. And Larry, let's talk a little bit, first of all, about North Carolina State. UCLA really has proven itself. They beat a good Kentucky team, and I don't care when or where you beat them. That's a job well done. North Carolina State still needs that one big win, and tonight could be it.
They really do, Barry. This is their first real road trip. They did play Kansas to a tough match, although Kansas won. But this will be a real test for North Carolina State.
Their 5 victories include the likes of Howard and Radford. There's still a Maryland Eastern Shore to come. But take a look at the numbers between these two, and there is very little to choose. They're very comparable.
They really are, Barry, and I think the two most important stats are the two at the bottom. I think the team that can physically go out and dominate the boards and the team that forces the most turnovers will really have an advantage in this ball game.
Talking with Jim Herrick, and he said one of the big differences this year is UCLA's team as opposed to last year is the senior leadership. Tyus Edney is not only leading off the floor, he is leading on the floor, and how. What a game he had as you look at our prime matchup against George Mason. All he did was have 28 points and had 11 steals. What's even more impressive, he did it in 28 minutes. Now, what about the freshman, Ashwa Benjamin of North Carolina State? Here's a guy, Larry, that has just put numbers up in both categories. Unselfish and can put it in a hole. But Edney's the guy that's really driving the bus for UCLA.
Well, Tyus Edney is a terrific little athlete. He's exceptionally quick. He can step back and shoot the three-point shot. The reason he's so terrific on defense is he's got very quick feet but fast hands. Ashwa Benjamin is a freshman wise beyond his years. He makes great decisions in the open court, can shoot the three, and also finish strong at the basket.
You know, I like the way coaches have a sense of just kind of simplifying things. When we talked to Jim Herrick this afternoon, I said, what's the bottom line? He said, we just got to guard people.
Well, you know, when you have the physically talented team like UCLA, you go out and you pressure defense, you rebound, and you fast break. You let your athletes take care of business.
As for Les Robinson, he says he's got to get out of the blocks early. He's got to give his team, the best chance to win on the road. And on the road at Pauley against UCLA, not an easy thing to do. So it'll be UCLA, number 2 and undefeated in 6 starts against North Carolina State. They've lost just once, and it was close. We'll be back. Get a lot of minutes for UCLA. Not really in game shape, according to the coaching staff. Benjamin way outside, missed the 3. And a second try underneath. It's Daniels.
Basket by Ricky Daniels.
Speaking of having your number retired, Ricky Daniels' high school number is retired.
He's a very good offensive rebounder and scores very well in traffic, as he proved there. And these are hustle baskets. Good offensive rebounding teams are teams that are willing to do the dirty work, assume the shot's missed, get in and get down and get dirty. North Carolina State is doing that right now.
McCullough again. Missed the 3 that time. May not be pretty, but he gets good results out of it. A foul on Ashwa Benjamin.
Benjamin getting back and really nothing he could do other than sprint back and protect the basket. North Carolina State has shot the ball quickly 2 out of the last 3 possessions. I really believe if you're going to have a chance to win on the road against a very difficult team, you've got to be able to look early into a possession, and if you have the open shot, then take it. But if you're not shooting the ball well, get back, run your offense, and then look for the best shot that you can get.
This might be a little bit of a misleading number. I think a lot of those offensive rebounds, very frankly, have been caused by the fact that North Carolina State shots have missed so badly.
Well, if you miss bad, you better get on the offensive boards. And I think North Carolina State is just hustle. One of the tributes to a team that can rebound on offenses, having good athletes, and of course, getting to the glass and going after the loose balls hard.
1-point ball game with North Carolina State leading UCLA. Cameron Dollar will sit. Toby Bailey comes back for the Bruins. 5 minutes remaining, first half. Benjamin. Oh, shot!
Daniels offering Benjamin the screen at the top of the key to go left. He elected to go right and made a tough shot.
Well, the little battle that we spoke of earlier between Benjamin and Edney is being won right at the moment by Benjamin. Edney's been bageled so far in the ballgame. He's got nothing. Hyatt, the drive, offensive. Willis McJunkin on the call. 3rd foul called on Hyatt.
A slasher, and that's where your help side defense comes in. You see Ed O'Bannon, he's playing against Brian Fagans. He's in exactly the kind of a defensive situation you want to be. Middle of the key, arms up, seeing man and ball. He takes that contact, consequently draws the offensive foul.
Ed O'Bannon, fall away, short. Jump ball, the possession arrow points to North Carolina State. Scrappy basketball team, this Wolfpack team.
And if they get scrapping on the inside, Brian Fagans is going to be somewhere right in the middle of it.
Well, again, I hearken back to what Les Robinson spoke of as the bottom line in this ballgame, and that was give yourself the best chance to win, and this team is certainly doing that so far. Davis for three. Davis more of a slasher, not a real threat to shoot for three. Despite the fact that he did break the freshman record for three-point shooting, but then he was injured and he hasn't been able to stick it for the last couple of years. 3:54 left, 1-point game, Wolfpack. 1-point ball game, 33-32 here at Pauley Pavilion. 3:54 left in the first half, and there is the Wizard. That would be the Wizard on the left.
Well, the youngster on the right is John Lawrence Impleman, my godson, the son of Craig and Christy. Christy Impleman, the first granddaughter of Coach Wooden.
Wooden still very much a presence here, not only at UCLA, but in the game of basketball in general. You know, Dennis Mnuchin, Larry, just handed us a stat that I find interesting, and as a coach, I suppose you could look at it and say, oh, that's good, and then there's the other side of the coin saying, well, maybe we're just playing too soft.
UCLA has not committed a foul in the last 8 minutes. And a part of that has to do with the fact UCLA's only committed 4 fouls so far in the first half. A part of that is North Carolina State coming down and in the last few minutes taking the quick shot. You don't have to play defense. You don't have to defend dribble penetration. You don't defend a second shot. The other side of that is you've got to get out and get aggressive. And when you play aggressive defense, you are going to foul. UCLA needs to turn that up. And I think if they can turn up their defense, they might be able to spurt.
We talked about the game that Tyus Edney had against George Mason, 28 points and 11 rebounds in 28 minutes. Tonight, however, it's all front court and almost no backcourt for the Bruins.
3 points coming from the backcourt of UCLA, 30 coming from the front line. Now, you like that as a coach because that means you're getting high percentage shots. When your forwards and your centers are scoring a lot of points, you're getting those baskets largely in the trenches.
Daniels got it back off the rejection by O'Bannon.
UCLA in man-to-man.
Benjamin, the leaner, won't go, and O'Bannon clears. They got the numbers 3-on-2. Here's Edney in the middle, the floater. First basket for Tyus. And Les Robinson wants a 20-second timeout, but Benjamin didn't see it. And a great defensive play at the other end by Edney. Ahead to Henderson, Bailey on the wing, reverse, and a foul's going to be called. They're going to get C.C. Harrison. Les Robinson was frantically signaling for a 20-second timeout, which they are experimenting with here in the Pac-10 Conference. And in these intersectional games between teams from 2 different conferences, they will ask the opposing coach if he wants that. And I don't know a coach that would refuse that.
Well, I think any time you have an additional timeout where you can use it at the beginning of a game, if your team comes out of the block slowly, at the end of a half, where you get the ball and you want to set up a last shot play. Anytime you have an opportunity to coach your team during the course of a ball game, it's good. I really like that rule, Brad.
Fortunately, his players didn't recognize it.
You got to be able to call it for it to be of value.
One small thing. Jason Sutton comes into the ball game now.
UCLA quickly going to the 2-2-1 zone press.
Wilson pulls the trigger a little bit quick once again. And an errant pass, and here come the Wolfpack.
Now that's what the 2-2-1 press is designed to do. Not necessarily create turnovers, although when that happens, that's good. but to get the other team, in this case North Carolina State, to shoot quickly.
Boy, and they are. Way up front is O'Bannon for three. Another errant shot.
Had a terrific shooter from out there. Really didn't line that one up. North Carolina State now down 5. Get a good possession. Don't let UCLA get on a roll where they can spurt and then create a comfortable margin for a lead.
Well, they leave Wilson open, and he can't get it. And Daniels gets it back. An errant pass picked off. Here come the Bruins again, 3-on-3. Edney all the way, little crossover, missed the shot. And a nice effort underneath by Wilson.
Tyus Edney just freezing the defender with that inside-outside move. He is so quick, and he's so gifted with either hand off the dribble that he just really froze the defender and created a pretty makeable shot for Tyus Edney.
And then Edney guilty of the reach-in foul, only the 15th foul.
Cameron Dollar into the game for the Bruins, replacing J.R. Henderson.
Cameron Dollar coming back in. He's an excellent defender. He's going to take C.C. Harrison.
Davis off balance with the right hand, but he got it to go. That's a big basket for North Carolina State.
They needed that, and it came as a result of one-on-one. As a coach, I'm concerned. Nice move, but you'd rather see 5, 6, 7 passes, good man movement, good ball movement, and then get that opportunity as a result of team play.
Edney. Second try, Bailey over everybody, and they say no basket. The foul before the basket.
Toby Bailey coming in from the outside. Timing it perfectly. He is not boxed out and just goes about a foot over the rim. They're calling the contact down low, saying that in an effort to get there, he might have gone over one of the North Carolina State defenders' backs. But what an athletic move, Terry, to get up there and tip that ball in.
Three-point try is missed by Daniels, and here come the Bruins once more with 28 seconds. See if they pull it out. Nope, Bailey will pull the trigger and stand and stick it. It's a 2.
The worst shot in basketball is to have your foot on that three-point line. If you're going to shoot it from out there, make sure that you're clear of the line so you get the three-point shot.
I might have considered pulling that back out and taking a last shot also. Harrison, it won't go. And O'Bannon with 1 second. And the first half will come to an end. A little bit sloppy down the stretch on both sides. The UCLA Bruins, after trailing by 5, have come back to take a 5-point lead. At the half, UCLA 40, North Carolina State 35. Don't go away. More to come during the half at Pauley. We'll be back. Barry Tompkins, Larry Farmer, we're at halftime here at Pauley with the home team, the second-ranked UCLA Bruins, trying to keep an undefeated streak on the line. Lead the North Carolina State Wolfpack 40-35. And just a reminder, our next action here on Prime comes your way live from Tempe, Arizona. Conference and state rivals Arizona and Arizona State will battle it out. That's live next Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern time on most of these same Prime affiliates. And that should be a pretty good ball game. Now you look at this ball game, Larry, and you say, has this been a pretty good ball game? Well, it's been an interesting ball game, but I have an idea it's not one that either coach would like to put in a time capsule.
Well, North Carolina State, I think, Barry, they're really hustling. They're doing the job on the offensive board, and they've had some good trips defensively. I really think they need to be more patient on offense and make sure that if they don't get an easy shot to begin with, that they play with more patience.
Now, you have to think that Les Robinson will try to jam it inside to the big guy, try to draw that fourth foul on George Zedek early in the second half.
Well, they need to get Fuller involved. He's played well in the first half, but he really didn't get the shot opportunities that I think they need to get him. They should get those to him in the second half.
Just to go back to what we talked about with Jim Herrick this afternoon, and that was, he said, we just got to guard people. Are the Bruins guarding people?
Well, you know, they are initially, and they're forcing some outside shots. North Carolina taking some perhaps they shouldn't. But where they're getting hurt is on that offensive board. If they get on the defensive board, that will ignite their fast break, and that's UCLA's game.
On the other hand, Les Robinson really doing exactly what he wanted. He has made this ball game a close ball game at the half, and he has, in fact, given himself a real chance to win.
Well, that's all you want when you're on the road, is to keep the score close. Give yourself an opportunity to get your kids confident that they can win, so at the end of the ball game, they can make those big plays.
All right, you've been in this situation as a coach. What are you telling your players now, first of all, if you're Jim Herrick?
Well, you tell them that, you know, we didn't play well, we're getting out hustled, we're at home, and there is no excuse for that. We've got to turn our defense up a notch, share the ball on offense, and make sure that we get some touches on the basketball on offense.
And Les Robinson, I'm sure, saying do what you did, but do it a little bit better. We're going to talk with Tyus Edney when we come back. Don't go.